So in this video, we're going to look at the Revizto Coordination App in Deep Space. It's an app that's built for your project manager or your BIM manager or your BIM coordinators in particular. And it's around answering the question, well, how well is our Revizto project coordination going? We've got a bunch of issues in Revizto, and knowing that you've got, say, 300 odd issues is not enough to know how well the project is going. So there's a lot more context that goes into answering that question. And as a BIM manager or a coordinator, you might inherently know about it, but how do you inform your team? And so that's what this app is about. How well is our project going? So, things like, what stage of the project are we in? Are we at the start of the project or are we at the end of the project? That might help answer that question more. Or whereabouts are those issues? Is it a big project, small project? Are they up here and we're working down here at the moment? Or, even things like, well, how is that compared to where we were last week or last month? Are we trending up or down? That sort of thing helps answer that question. So that's what the app's about. We're going to walk through it. But firstly, just how do I get the app? On the apps marketplace on the website, you can see a bunch of the other apps that we have and what we're working on. And down here, you've got this Revizto Coordination App. And so I click on Learn More, and it's going to give me some how-tos or some features and description. And so there's more detail in here, but we're going to go through all that in the video. So how do I install it on my project? Well, you have to have the Explorer Plus platform, and in the admin console is where you can go and add it to your project. So if you're a primary account holder, under Plan, you can go and add it as an add-on. So it comes with its own monthly cost. Once I've got it, it's going to appear here in my apps as a link, and let's go through it. Across the top here, we've got a bunch of these buttons to help us navigate through different pages of the app. So we're on the overview page. This is kind of our landing page. And so let's minimize this screen here, give ourselves maximum real estate. And so let's just walk our way through it. On the top left, we have a panel just explaining, and this panel is on every page, and it just shows you a snapshot of where you're at. Just very quick, give me the stats on how many issues we've created on the project, how many we've closed, how many ongoing issues there are, and whether they're clash, stamp or sheet issue. So you can see we've also got a worm showing you the trend over the last 90 days or the last 3 months on the project. And that sort of shows you, okay, well, that's good. We're trending down. So that's your snapshot. That's on every page. And then on the top right, we've got this filter panel, and you expand the filter and you can play around with, just show me priority, major and critical, or show me, assigned to a particular discipline. Or down the bottom here, I don't need to explain all of this, but down the bottom here, which is a good one, is we've got this age bracket. So sometimes you have issues in a project that kind of they're going to sit there forever, it seems like. So they're going to stay there, but you're not caring so much about those. Just pull this back and just show me the relevant issues. So that's your filter panel. But going down here, again, these are on some of the other pages as well. We've got issue type, status, and priority. And then we've got a discipline. And so the discipline links to the Deep Space Teams Builder. And this is where you can set up your disciplines. We also have over here an ongoing issue trend. And so this is just providing some analytics around how the ongoing issues are trending. It also shows you a bit of a forecast. So show me what the next, 3 or 4 weeks would look like at the current kind of issue creation rate. Now, all of these visuals, we can select those and we can modify the rest of the visuals on the page. So if I'm just interested in my clash analytics, I can click on just clashes and I can see how that is trending and how it's distributed amongst the other team, etc., etc. So that is the overview. This one here is also good. This is showing the created and closed over time. this worm, we're used to seeing this. What's good about it, I find for myself, is that you can see issues are created and closed out every week in, say, Navisworks. But you can see, we're getting closer, and you want those two worm lines to close and meet up as you get towards the end of your project. So that's the overview. Let's click on location. Okay, so with the location page, we are trying to display how the issues are spread out across the project, and that could be vertically or horizontally. So if it's a very horizontal building, you're going to perhaps use zones, or if it's a tower, you want to see how the issues are distributed across the different levels. So that's what this page is about. We've got deep space control levels. So these are the issues. If you're familiar with syncing from Revit to deep space, you've got a control file that you can select. And so that's where these levels come from. You've also got your Revizto Plus levels, and you've got your zone and package. So if you're using that, that's what you would like to see. And then also this panel here is about if you have multiple Revizto projects and the one deep space project. So maybe you've got multiple Revizto projects all feeding into this one deep space project. That would show how those issues are distributed across the different Revizto projects here. And this is, again, a filter. You can select that to filter down that list. You've also got assignee here. And so again, like all the other visuals, you can select an assignee, and I'll pick myself here, and you can see how those, say, 22 issues for that one user, how they are distributed across the levels of the project. Also, as you filter down some of these selections, you can see this Explore Issues button. So this appears on a few pages. So what it does is it jumps you to the last page. If I go up here, you can see here this Issues page. But I've got this filter applied, so I'm going to click on Explore Issues. And now we'll talk about this page a bit later on, but I've now jumped down. So I've got 300 plus issues on the project, but now I'm just looking at the 22 assigned to that one user. So we'll come back to this page in a moment. So let's go back for now, and we're back at our location page. Now let's have a look at the time page. So again, like with a lot of analytics, what these pages are all about is showing you different perspectives of the same set of data. So here we're talking about time. There's a few different ways that you can talk about time. And I'll explain that. We've got, okay, show me how many issues are being created this week, but also show me, what does that look like compared to the last 3 months? What's the general average? So you're getting a lot of insight straight away. The same here with the closed issues. We've also got a number here showing you the average days taken to close out issues. So that's just an average, but you know how well a project's going when you compare that to, say, other projects. Okay, so on average, this team is actually performing better than this other project that we've got going. This visual down here, I really like this visual because at a glance, you can see how the week is going compared to the last few weeks. So this is week by week showing you how many issues have been created and how many issues have been closed. You can see the last 4 weeks, we've closed out more issues than we have been creating. So, on the whole, we're doing really well on this project. And you can see the ongoing trend is actually being influenced by that. We're actually trending down here, which is really good. It's like what I was saying before, you want the two worms to meet up as you zero out all your issues on the project. Interestingly, what we've been able to do here on this graphic is show you some anomalies. So you get this little icon show up, and it may explain what some anomalies are caused by. So if you've seen like a massive drop in the number of issues on your project, that's going to spike or it's going to create an anomaly, and you might need some explanation around what has caused that anomaly. Also down here, we've got that same graph, and we've got a summary describing what has happened on the project. So that's time. Going over now to priority. I like to use priority a lot in my issue tracking It really helps focus the conversation around the really important things that we need to be talking about on the project. And you want to, as a BIM coordinator, you want a good distribution of priority. You don't want too many major issues. No one can deal with 60, 70 critical issues. So show me the critical things, but I want to see that there's only 10 of them, say. And so this is a good insight into the distribution of issues in terms of their priority, and also over time and how those have tracked over time. So that's your priority. You can also filter down here by selection. And then we've got age. Age is also a really interesting one. And why I find it really important is because some issues get created and then sit in the system forever. And why aren't we closing out these stale issues? And that's what this page is about. We've made some brackets of new, fresh, old, and stale issues. So that's those. So, a fresh issue is between 70 and 30 days old. And so I can see how the age of issues is distributed around the project. I can select down here the different age groups. So show me just the stale issues on a project. And again, up here, I've got my explore issues, and I can open those up in this last page, which we want to talk about, this issues page. So here, this issues page is showing me all issues on the project. Let's just clear our filter. So what this page is about is just show me all the issues, and I want to be able to filter down the ones that I want to see. So I can do that by a number of different ways. The table has got a lot of columns showing me things that are interesting. I've got my filter up here, but I can also search with assignee, or I can search by level or tags. All of that could perhaps be important here. So if I go filter by Michael, show me, we've got no priorities there. Show me clash issues. I can filter all of that down here. And then also we've got this open in Revizto. So now what I can do is I can select an issue that I want to see in Revizto. I click open in Revizto, and that opens the issue in Revizto. So that is a quick look at our Revizto Coordination app. You've got to get it on your project. So if you want to reach out to us, you can contact us through the chat icon down the bottom of the page, or just reach out via LinkedIn or send us an email. We would love to hear from you.